Yeah.
All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there. I don't know, maybe five or six, just like you right there, just like me right here. Got a super special guest on the show today. He and I have been pen pals for a long time. I write him letters, and he'll send me a letter back. It's pretty cool. He's not the senator from Kentucky, but I was going to introduce him as Senator Mitch Malloy. But you know him from Great White, Almost Van Halen, a great solo career, a guy who probably should have been a little bit more of a household name back in the 90s, but something happened in the music world that kind of shut that down. Mitch Malloy, all the way from sunny Florida
Florida.
Panhandle, right? How are you, sir?
Yes. Hello. Man. Man, we've been talking about doing this for years.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what I said. I've been writing. I have said, "Dear Mitch Malloy, please come on my show," and you're like, "No."
And I'm like pissed off.
You had
How
stuff
about
you had
this?
to do.
No.
You didn't have any breaking news today. We have breaking news. Mitch, what's the headline? What are you're gonna spill the beans today? There it is.
My last album, the last song.
Wow, he's doing like a Billy Joel thing. He's got the last song, the last farewell. Billy Joel had that song on his last album. I forget the final scene or something like. Or I'm thinking of Bob Seger. I don't know, but yeah, that's so. This is going to be your last album.
This is the last. This is the latest and last CD. The last
Wow.
song.
So it's
It
called
looks
the
like
last
that.
song.
Yeah, and look at this. It's very, very luxurious.
Wow, look at those pictures. That's what do they call a trifold, right?
Yeah, cash outflow.
Yeah, it's
Flying out
better.
of my account.
It's better than my old RCA copy of the first album, where it's
Yes.
just this. It's
Yeah,
just the,
way better.
yeah.
Way better. Yeah.
We used to
Music's way better.
play. We played this song called "Anything at All." Did you remember? Do
Yeah,
you remember that song at all?
vaguely.
I mean, I
Seems
think it
familiar.
hit the top 20 or something, and the record label said, "Ah, thanks for playing it. Thanks for playing the home game. Have a great have a great day."
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that song,
1992,
yeah, that song was number 1 in some markets.
and it should have been. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, good. Does
Yeah.
you wrote all this? You,
I don't I don't know. It did really well in the Midwest. It did really well. It was in the top 20, so everybody played it. Almost everybody, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 It was melodic. It fit it. Like I say about a lot of these artists that came out like 90, 91, 92. If you guys had just known to hurry up and get that
Yeah.
stuff out a little sooner,
Yeah.
but
I'm like
here we
the
are.
label. I'm like with the label. Come on, come on. My window is closing. Come on.
You heard "Smells Like Teen Spirit." You're like, crap. What am I gonna
Yeah,
do?
exactly. I saw Nirvana on MTV and I was like, wah, 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 wah.
It's that Price is Right. It's that Price is Right thing at the
Lose,
end.
you lose.
Oh man, missed it by that much. Go back a little
Yeah.
Don Adams there from Get Smart. So, but this new album, I just got through listening to it. I did my homework.
You did.
It's really good. I mean, this is melodic rock the way it used to be. Without too much. Mitch. I don't know about how you record stuff, but there's so much like compression and gimmickry, and I gotta. It's like layers upon layers. And sometimes I would just like to hear a nice guitar solo, which I heard on a few of those tracks. So kudos to you, man. You're playing everything, right?
Thank you. Yes, I do my records all by myself, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
But this is the second one. So this is the first one I did that.
Oh, yeah. Remember that
Making
one?
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was an exercise in insanity. And I realized just how insane I am, that I could actually make a record all by myself. What in the like, I never set out to ever do that, ever. Like, I
Yeah.
just wanted to be in a band, like a singer in a rock and roll band,
Yeah.
And but I've been in the studio. I added it up this year. I've had studios in my home for
Mhm.
47 years, which is amazing because I'm only 36.
Yeah, I
I don't
was
know
gonna
how that
say,
happened.
you just turned like 30 something. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm 35, 6-ish, something like that.
can you
No, so
send me some of that
the
that
serum.
age reducing serum and the
Yeah.
follicle stuff too for
Yeah, I
me?
put this stuff on my face and it's like, it goes like that. Works great.
Whatever it is, brother. All you got to do is look. If you can send me some, even if look, I was gonna say when you hit it big, right? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I will because this is going to be huge.
It should be. It's a
I'm
great album, and people.
positive.
So when's that going to be coming out?
July 6th,
All
actually.
right.
Yeah. So we're in pre-sale mode. I got talked into doing vinyl of this, which this
Okay.
is not because I don't have it yet because it's vinyl and it takes forever to make. This is like dusty. That dust.
You've been watching too many of my videos where I show off this CD.
Yes, I perhaps have. I'm
Yeah,
guilty.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I did vinyl with this one, which is my first time ever doing vinyl, you know?
Eh, could
Yeah,
be definitely worth getting. Vinyl. I think last year vinyl outsold CDs for the first time in a long time.
I know.
Um,
That's what talked me into it. I was like, wow, I'll
yeah,
sell, 200 pieces of vinyl instead of 100 CDs. It'd be
yeah.
awesome.
They say, "Hey, do you have a vinyl player?" And I go, "A vinyl player? What the heck is that?"
Yeah.
I have
A
a
vinyl
turntable, but I
player.
don't have a vinyl player.
Is that actually a thing? A
Oh, it's a
vinyl?
thing, dude. It's yeah. People say, "How many vinyls do you have?" I
Ah,
go,
really?
"Vinyls?" I remember the old cars. Remember, and had the vinyl roof, and I was thinking maybe they're thinking
Yeah,
about like
yeah, yeah.
the
Vinyl. Yeah.
Brougham Cadillac with the vinyl roof. I have no
Yeah.
idea. Yeah,
Wow. I am so out of touch. I never even heard that term.
we're
I'm gonna have to
both.
get in with the kids, man. Let's talk about the vinyls.
You
How many
gotta
vinyls?
you gotta do some TikTok videos, Mitch. I think that would help your career a lot. I mean, just do the 1 minute TikTok videos and then do this with your album and
Yeah.
buy this right now, buy the vinyl, and that's all you gotta do.
I keep
Um,
I keep doing TikTok and then not doing like I keep like I think I've 3 times I've signed up for TikTok. And I go on there and I'm like, really?
yeah,
Yeah, I think no. And then I
Mitch.
delete it. And then somebody like you goes, you really need to go back on TikTok. So I go on TikTok and I'm like, oh, I delete it.
They people that tell me, Dave, I know your channel is kind of struggling right now. Have you ever thought about TikTok? Oh, I've thought about it.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
thought about it. And it's like
TikTok vacuum.
it's the yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool influences on this. Some I'm
Yeah.
not going to talk about, but there is a little bit of a Van Halen swagger going on here on this track called "One of a Kind," and it kind of shows up here and there. I would say this is slightly more like lighter AOR than some of the heavy Van Halen sounding stuff, but it's
Yeah.
still right in there. So if you're
Yeah.
a fan of, I don't know, pick a Van Halen album, say post Roth, I would say for
Yeah.
the most part.
Yeah.
Um,
I can't write Roth.
yeah. Well, Dave these days, I don't know if Dave can write Roth either.
Yeah. Yeah. But
But
that's brilliant. Brilliant. Really. I mean,
yeah.
brilliant. But it's not
Well,
what I do.
the
I'm
early stuff I think has a lot of swagger to it.
oh,
The Sammy stuff definitely is a little. It's different.
more
I mean, you
melodic.
got
Yeah.
Eddie there, so obviously you still have you're probably trying your best to sort of channel that era and to give fans something that they can kind of sink their teeth into these days, because like I say, some of the production today it's just overwhelming, too much clutter,
Well, now, in the studio, you used to, have to pay a fortune to be able to do a multi-track record and to be able to have that technology, which, that's where I come from.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've had studios for 47 years, so I've had every different format you could imagine, right? So now things are to the point where, you kind of almost have unlimited tracks. So that could be a problem.
Yeah.
There's too much going on. It's
Right.
funny 'cause when I was making this record, that happened, because I was like, well, let me try this on that, and let me try this on that, and I'm playing everything, right? So I have everything is just around me, I can just do almost anything. Like, okay, this song needs an orchestra. Okay, so I go over to my keyboard and I start being an orchestra, or whatever. The song needs more of this kind of
Yeah.
guitar, this kind of thing, ba 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 ba. And before you know it, you have 8 million tracks doing all this stuff. And then I had to go, okay, hang on a second. Like the song's getting lost. My voice is getting lost. The whole vibe is getting lost. There is absolutely no way. And you're the second person that's mentioned the word swagger, which has never been mentioned ever about my music. So I'm like, yes, I've
Yeah.
reached the swagger mountain, so, so, but you know what I mean? Like you can't achieve swagger if you've got 80 gazillion tracks doing all this crap. And,
Yeah.
I mean, swagger is about personality and, you know,
Soul.
yeah,
Soul.
soul and being able to feel things. And
Yeah.
you can't feel anything if everything is covering it up. Right.
Right.
So I had to really, really go backwards. I mean, the fact that, you're astute enough to hear all that and say that is accurate because I had to like really go back. And it took me a while to make the record and I had time. So I could do that. I could take a week or two off of a song while I went to another song. And then I could come back to a song and go, where's the swagger? You know what I mean? I mean, I didn't think that, but I just thought, where's the personality? But getting back to something else you said, I never really try to do anything except be good.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's hard to be good. You know what I mean? And I think if you try to be like something else, I don't know, it dilutes it and then you're not yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just trying to be the best artist that I can be is, enough.
Right. Well, I think, I get into this habit of trying to compare. Okay,
Yeah,
what
everybody
does
does.
this sound like? Who is he close to?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
do have your own thing for sure. You're kind of in with a lot of other things, but you've
Oh,
got your
sure.
own thing. And I go back to 92 and you
Yeah,
seem to write well. You write good melodies and there's good guitar parts and there's a nice bridge and it's all those things that we all grew up listening to where we
yeah.
expect these things
Songs.
to happen.
Yeah,
And you,
songs. Yeah.
yeah, and you've
Yeah.
written, I'm sure, for a lot of different people and hung out with
Companies.
different
Yeah.
characters, in your career, and
Yeah, I had a
it's
publishing
probably
deal.
helped
Yeah.
you uh,
Yeah.
write better songs.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I went to Nashville because I thought, if nothing else, I will leave there being a better songwriter.
Yeah,
And really what I did was I left there being a better everything because the level of talent in Nashville, if you don't rise up, forget it. I mean, that's really the only for me, that was the only thing I could do was try to be at the level of the people that are there, because they are the best. I mean, the best songwriters, the best musicians, the best engineers, the best,
yeah,
and I really think that. And of course, there are brilliant people everywhere. Obviously, there are brilliant people in New York and LA and Chicago and everywhere.
mhm,
But Nashville seems to have more of them in the central area. Just, it's just like, oh my God, just the brilliance is just everywhere, right next door to you, right across the street from you, right? Like the best guitar players and, lived across the street from me and come
yeah,
over and like hang out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's like that. You just try to be great and that's all you can do. And I was raised on the Beatles, I'm the youngest of 6 kids.
yeah,
So I was in my diapers listening to Beatles, and so that is ingrained in me. I come from that kind of a song.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And there's
yeah,
actually you've got some orchestral
yeah,
stuff going on that
yeah,
power ballad you did. It's called "Using This Song."
using this song, yeah.
Yeah, I love that stuff as long as it's not overdone. But I'm a big fan of like the Jeff Lynne type
Oh
of
god, yeah. Me too.
arrangements. Who
Yes.
again, just
Brilliant.
brilliant,
Mhm.
classical, but like real musical. Like just thinking beyond the normal hey, let's just write a pop song. I mean, throwing the kitchen sink in there, but still being able to hear everything, which I think is what's great about this album is you can hear everything. I'm always a big fan. I'm always complimentary, even if, say, the music, which in this case isn't the case, but in some cases you listen to an album and they're like, okay, this hook is kind of half there. It's not a complete hook, you know. But at least
a co-writer.
You go, at least they're trying, you know, and it doesn't sound, you can still get into part of the song or most of the song, but these are really well written, complete songs, which really in today's world, Mitch, it's kind of hard to come by. It's not in the mainstream. Let's put it that way.
I have to agree with that. I think it's kind of a sad thing that the art of the song has left the building. I mean, I don't hear it hardly ever. It's occasional that I hear it. I mean, there's a new band from around these parts called Gunshine, who are young lads, and I'm supporting them, you know, because they're actually songwriters who are great musicians. The guy's got a great voice. Jordan, he's a really great singer.
I just wrote that down. So
yeah, and Austin, the guitar player, is freakishly good, like seriously good. Like, whoa, plays a Les Paul left-handed and blows your mind.
That's fun.
Great. Yeah, and they write songs. It's like it's for me the first new band that has come out that is kind of our ilk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they are a modern rock band, but they're very classic rock leaning. Yeah. And they write songs. Gunshine.
Write it down. All right. Yep. And Mitch Malloy told you, so now you got to go find it.
Yep. I got no stake in it. They're just good.
Cool. Yeah, I do that all the time. I tell people, people think, are they paying you? I'm like, really? If they were paying me, I would be, I don't know, I wouldn't be worried about if my channel is going to be monetized or not if they're right. Paying. You know what I mean? It's like, it would be cool if someone wants to pay me.
That's why I like what you do. You're trying to keep things going and keeping things going. And that's why I'm here talking to you, because we have to keep it going, right?
You know, I feel like it's 1992 still. It's not. Yeah. But I feel like it could be.
No, it's not.
And it hasn't gone down. It hasn't gone down the drain, and we're still. You know what I mean? Like my theory on the whole thing in '92, and you could maybe get into what happened to you in the '90s, just maybe briefly. But I'm thinking, okay, so here comes Stone Temple Pilots, right? Here comes Nirvana. Why couldn't all of the music still be there? Like, why did all of the melodic, so-called cheesy, as I hear all the time, that's cheesy.
Well, some of it was.
Yeah, some of it, but I mean, it still had, like, you could roll your window down and sing really off-key, and you could follow. I mean, I can't really sing to Smells Like Teen Spirit. I don't know, maybe some people can. But I mean, Weird Al did, right? He made his own version of it, which I thought was really impressive. Yeah. But my thing is, it could have all kind of coexisted. I hate to use that word, but it should have all been.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let the consumer, let the market decide, right? Why get rid of Mitch Malloy? He just put out this great album in ¡92. You came out with a follow-up album, and I think kind of, was that it, or what happened to Mitch Malloy?
Yeah, that was kind of it. Yeah. I mean, actually, after the debut, that was kind of it, honestly. And then I just went back to the studio where I kind of, I always had a life in the studio. Like I said, I started 47 years ago. I was like the first guy with a home studio, basically, almost, so I'm like the grandfather of the home studio. The great-great-grandfather?
People are looking at you and going, you can't be that old. There's something wrong. Anyway,
I'm 61.
That's insane.
Some people are like, okay, well, we don't have to say how old you are. I'm like, what? There's this thing called the internet.
Yeah, I could look that up. I figured you were around that age, and I may have already known that. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it, but
part of it.
It's a miracle.
Listen, Sonny.
Get off my lawn, kitty.
Get off my lawn. Get out
Um,
of my home studio.
so the 90s, so you made another album, and then the record label was probably like, okay, thanks, Mitch. You
Yeah.
fulfilled the
Well,
contract. Thanks. Have a great life, right?
I actually asked to be let go. Which people are like, you did what? I'm like, yeah, I asked to be let go because it was like they had a whole new staff come in and they were treating me like poor. I mean, it was, yeah, they were like, well, could you make like a alternative record? I was like, have you seen or heard me? Like, like
I
I'm
love
the
it.
new Beatle. What are you talking about? Like I don't, I mean, I just, yeah. So for me, I was like, well, maybe I should just go somewhere else and do something else. I just went back into the studio, songwriting, and just wrote songs and wrote songs and wrote songs. So the fact that you say that I can write songs is because I wrote songs for major companies. I got paid a lot of money to write songs and did it a lot and wrote with the greatest songwriters on the planet. I had the opportunity to learn from the best.
Name
So
drop. How about how?
Desmond Child was
Oh,
one. I
okay.
mean, yeah, I wrote with him a lot. I mean, he's amazing. In fact,
Yeah,
people
he
don't
is.
know this, and not to transition into Van Halen because, whatever. I mean, we can talk about Van Halen, but he was part of that. And that's kind of not widely known that he was part of that. And in fact, he's the one who suggested I write the letter to them saying thanks, but no thanks.
Wow.
That was his idea. He
Wow.
said, you know what, this, because I called him and I'm like, look, man, they just went on MTV and they did this thing and da 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 da. And it's like getting weird and I don't know what to do. And he goes, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't think I want to do it because I don't think it's going to work. And he goes, I think I agree with you. Write them a letter and pass on the gig. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, that's a good idea. Do
So
that.
Desmond
So I
Child
did it.
helped you
Yeah.
decide that you were gonna take that
Well,
gig.
yeah. I mean, I think I'd already decided, but he was the one who suggested the letter to write them the letter to
Wow.
say. And so I had my manager at the time do that. And that's part of it's part of the Rolling Stone feature that they did on me, and it's part of also the Mitch Malloy Van Halen's Lost Boy video.
Yeah.
That was really, I made that video to kind of dispel all the wrong things that were being said about it. Because I didn't ever want to talk about Van Halen ever. I didn't like. It's like let's just pretend like that never happened. You know, like because first of all, nobody's going to believe you.
Yeah.
Right? So then
Right.
so then your character is diminished because you look like a liar, and it's like my dad's was a federal judge. Okay, so that's the last thing that I want to look like. You know what I
Kid's a
mean?
liar.
Sorry, Dad.
My dad's a judge. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. So I was all brought up to never be that. So for me, that's why I didn't talk about it for years. And then people heard things and then people made up things. And so people started making up things that weren't true, which pissed me off.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to talk about it, say what actually happened. What does it matter? It doesn't really matter, right? So just tell the truth. I mean, I'm not in Van Halen. So, you know, I don't know. So
Would have been
anyway,
hey, would have
but yeah,
been
Desmond.
would have been cool. That would
Yeah,
have been.
yeah, and I mean, it's the right time. The song I
That's
wrote
that
with
did now
Ed, and
basically
yeah,
that's a riff that you finished, right? That was
yeah,
music that you put words to. Is that correct?
yeah. So he gave me the DAT tape, which I don't know if I sent you. I have a picture of that DAT tape. It used to be laying on my desk, but I don't know
That
where I
that's
put it. I think it's in the closet.
that
But
that might need to go to the Van Halen Museum if they ever do one.
yeah,
Anyway.
because it's Ed's handwriting on it. It
Oh,
says
that's cool.
Mitch and
Yeah.
it's dated. It's August 16th, and yeah. So basically what that was my 51 with me with them in
Yep.
5150. It was all the songs that we did, and then it was the music for It's the Right Time.
Now,
And
okay, when you say all the songs that you did, are there
yeah,
more songs that you did?
yeah, but they're hits. It was Panama, and
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. The songs that I was assigned to learn, basically,
Did they
for
record
the
you?
not for the not audition.
I gotcha. Did they record you singing those songs?
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, this
Oh,
was me live in 5150 with Van.
I'd love to hear those versions. So I imagine they're still at 5150.
I might have the only tape of that. I've
Mm,
I I have the DAT tape of it,
wow.
right? Yeah, people have heard it. When they come visit me and they go, "I want to hear the Van Halen thing," so I play it for them, and they're like, "Holy shit,
Have you
Halen!"
ever? Can you drop that somewhere, or would you just keep it, or what are you going to do with it?
I don't know. I'll probably just keep it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking a lot of people might be interested in hearing that, Mitch. I'm just
A
saying.
lot, yeah, a lot of people have mentioned it because people find out about it because it's Van Halen and everybody cares about Van Halen. And of course they care about Van Halen. Van Halen is arguably the greatest American rock band of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
I
rock
mean,
radio.
Aerosmith,
Yeah,
Van Halen. I mean, kind of,
yeah, yeah. Those, but I mean, as far as charting for a long period of time from the late '70s, even into the '90s, when again everybody was kind of failing, they kept going. Balance was still kind of a big deal. After that, obviously, there were some issues on the Van Halen 3 record, but in any event, we won't go there. We'll just move right
the
along.
record. Yeah, the record I didn't want to make.
Yeah,
I wanted to make, but I didn't want to make that record.
I think you had good judgment there.
Thank you.
I
The
think you made
songwriter in me went,
well. My theory is they were already on balance. They were trying to fit in with the scene a little bit. Where if they had just said, you know what, screw it, we're gonna do another 5150 album, or we're gonna do OU 812,
yeah.
any of those.
No, I agree. And I was shocked actually, because when I was there, Ed was making fun of the modern guitar sounds. And
Yeah,
that, to me personally, he was ragging on it, and I agreed. I mean, he and I come from the same place as far as guitar tone and all that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I shouldn't say that. He kind of invented his own.
right.
He really did. He invented his own sound completely. Not only his own style playing and all that, but he also invented his own tone, and there was nothing quite like it before, But
Agreed.
he's coming from the same things that I grew up on. He grew up, you know what I mean? He's a lot older than me, but anyway. So yeah, I agree. And I was surprised when that record came out and I heard it. I wasn't surprised. In a way, I wasn't surprised because those were the songs that or the music that he was playing for me when I was there that I didn't really hear. Like he's playing me this music and I'm thinking, this doesn't sound like Van Halen,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yeah.
don't even know what the verse and the chorus are.
Yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to write the song? You know what I mean? Like, was that the chorus?
Well, it's
I mean,
weird
that's what I was
because
thinking. But
yeah.
I was being respectful because it's Eddie Van Halen and I love him and I always loved him. And so, but he could see it. I was just like struggling to like what he was playing for me. It was obvious I didn't like it, I think, to him.
Yeah, that's
You know,
interesting. It's kind of
yeah.
weird because when they did A Different Kind of Truth, what did they end up doing? They ended up mostly going back
Yeah, way back. Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
almost the
But they did.
beginning to some
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah.
And
Even demo-y kind of it sounded. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and the number, it was a number one album. Number one in the country. They had a number one mainstream rock song, Tattoo, I'm pretty sure went to number one.
Tattoo. That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, had a little bit of swagger, as we talked about,
A lot of swagger.
and it's missing. It's not in the industry. You could probably write a book about the Van Halen thing, and I think people would be mildly interested in it. Let me switch gears a little bit on the Van Halen stuff and Eddie Van Halen. It's kind of tragic that there hasn't been any kind of a tribute to Ed. And I'm wondering what your feelings are on that.
Well,
You spent
I
time with
did
him.
that. My own little self did that.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
did. That's true.
yeah, I did that. And I did it just, I don't know, something just pushed me to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I never, ever, ever, when you have been in 5150 and you're singing Panama and, you know, 6 other songs, all the great stuff with Van Halen, then to do Van Halen with somebody else is kind of like, meh. Why, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would I want to do that? So because nobody saw you do that, I don't care. I still did it. It's still in here. You know what I mean? You can't take that away from me. You know,
Yeah.
so you know, you can't do that again because they're gone. And
Yeah.
so let me grab, you know, 3 guys who I think over the years I've heard that I think would do it the best
Mhm.
and see what happens. And so we did it, and it was a blast.
Yeah. I forgot. I didn't mean to say nobody did a tribute.
No, but it's accurate because nobody that
Nobody
anybody cares
from
about.
Yeah. Nobody from Van Halen Incorporated. Let's put
Yeah,
it that way.
yeah.
Right. There is a rumor out there, and I don't know if you've heard this rumor, that Michael Anthony might be kind of saying goodbye, obviously, to Sammy Hagar at some point because Sammy wants to retire. And he might be
Yeah.
putting together some kind of a band. And a few names have been mentioned. I think Jeff Scott Soto was one guy who is mentioned to possibly be a singer in that. Maybe an extension of, you know, kind of keeping the Van Halen thing going somehow.
Yeah.
What's your feelings on that? And if your phone rang, would you be interested in that?
I would definitely be interested in that, but my phone's not going to ring. Just to be clear.
Okay.
Yeah. Ed
Who's
called.
who's mostly calling the shots with it? Is it Alex that you think's calling most of the shots on what happens?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Alex, I think was always quietly uh running things.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got when I was there, that he was, you know, he's the older brother, and you know, the older brother is the older brother. I
Right.
mean, it's just always that, you
Yeah.
know. So, and he's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
He really is, especially for a drummer.
Wow.
um I,
Drummers around the world now are going to watch this video and they're going to say, "What? What do you mean? I'm the smartest guy in the band."
well, I started as a drummer.
All right, so there you go. So
Yeah, that was my first instrument.
right.
So I think like a drummer. So yeah, Al was, I think, always really heavily. I mean, there was a moment when Ed had an idea when we were there. He had a riff, and he was like, "Al, I got this idea," and he and Al started playing, and I was sitting, you know, in the chair at 5150 as they were constructing, you know, a song, and Al had definite opinions about things, you know, that Ed was playing. I mean, he like, you know, he went up against them. It was cool to watch, kind of scary actually too. The Van Halen brothers, like, you know, hashing out a song. It was like, this is cool. I wish I had a video. Heck, I wish I had a cell phone then, you know, I'd be like secretly record. Nah, I wouldn't have done that, but yeah. So Al, just getting back to Al, I think really at this point especially would be running things, but also Wolfie has a big play in it as well. I mean, he, you know, Ed really kind of handed the keys to him, you know, and so I think it's really those 2 guys, but then they have David Lee Roth as well in the mix, and I think he has a say in things. In fact, I know that to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I still have some insider information there, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really, you know, they're not calling me, and that's fine. I'm doing my thing, and I'm happy doing that. And but when we did the Van Halen thing, it was a blast. And I'm always open for a blast, you know?
There you
So,
go. All right.
yeah.
So you heard it here. Maybe first. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mitch Malloy says he's open to being part of some kind of a Van Halen tribute. I think you would be great in that, especially if folks haven't heard It's About Time, which if
The
they
right
haven't,
time.
say that again.
It's the right time.
It's the right time. Sorry.
Yeah,
See.
because Sam actually has a song with them called "It's About Time."
All right.
I
It's
know,
you know
I'm like,
I'm getting old. I'm sorry.
it's all good.
It's true. But yeah, if you go listen to that, you're gonna think to yourself, whoa, this should have been, what happened here? I mean, he's the obvious choice. I mean, so that's when I hear it, I go, it's got the swagger again. It's got the swagger. And so it would be cool. I'm just thinking for some fans, Mitch, it might be nice to get some closure on this. So, I mean, the Foo Fighters concert was supposed to be a tribute to, Taylor Hawkins, wasn't a tribute to Eddie Van Halen. There should be something official that comes from Van Halen world that says, okay, this is it. Show up. These people are going to be there. It's a tribute to Ed. It's not a tribute to Dave or a tribute to Sam. And I think people would, be up for that, and that would, after that, everybody can just do their thing. Wolfie can do the solo stuff and Alex can retire and Dave can do goofy videos on YouTube and everybody's going to be happy,
And be Dave.
Right.
Dave, amazing. But so, yeah, I mean, for me, I would like to see that happen. And I have no say in it. I do not expect to be part of it. I don't, I mean, Ed is the one that I was closest to, I mean, Ed used to call me, like, there were some days where Ed called me 3 times a day. Like, it was, people
Wow.
don't know. Yeah, people don't know that. But when Ed and I were close, we were really close. Like, it was like, he's calling me, what do you think of this, man? I'm like, dude, you sound like Eddie Van Halen. I mean, you sound great.
What are you going to say to him? Sounds like crap, Ed. Don't stop doing that.
It never sounded like crap. Trust me.
I know. I'm just kidding. Right?
Yeah. That was before cell phones though, so you're listening on a real phone,
yeah.
And you're like,
landline, the dreaded landline.
Eddie Van Halen is playing guitar for me. Oh. This is crazy. Yeah.
It's a surreal. It had a lot of it had to be kind of surreal for you, the whole thing.
I think the whole thing was and still is.
Yeah.
It still seems surreal,
Well, what's going to be surreal in the immediate future is your new album. You got to show it off again one more time for everybody. Where can we get this? Where can we order? Where can we order a copy of this album?
Right. So right now the vinyl is in pre-sale. There's a vinyl bundle, and Sing Records. If you go to mitchmalloy.com, the link is there. Okay, mitchmalloy.com.
Right.
The link is there. The video for One of a Kind is on mitchmalloy.com.
See that? So I know how to pick the single. See that? Bam.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for me, that was just the song with the most, like you said, swagger. It was like this is the most swagger riff I've ever written. So, that song was a blast. That was the 9th song that I wrote for the record. Yeah, 8 songs were done, And I thought, okay, I need 2 more songs. And I picked up the guitar and went, and I was like, hey, that's something. Can I write a song around that? And and that came out great. I was really happy with it. I thought this could very well be the first single. Let's see what happens next. And then I need 1 more song. I'm like, okay, this is the last song.
It really is.
It should just be called the last song.
Really is the last song. Yeah.
Yeah. And then how do you make that cool? How do you make that not lame? I don't know. Maybe if it was, I'm living my life like it's the last song.
Wow.
That's kind of cool.
Songwriting mojo.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So after this gets out there for a while, are you planning on doing any gigs?
Yes. There's always things in the works for that. and there are some nice gigs coming up. I'm just not at liberty to say what they are yet.
All right, so you'll have to
they'll
stay
be on my
tuned.
socials. Yeah.
Have to stay tuned for Mitch Malloy. Where are you on social media, by the way?
I'm on the internet. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a thing, like everything is there. It's amazing.
Twitter, Facebook, where are you?
My wife is like, Mitch, use your friend Google.
Google.
My wife is a trip.
Yeah, well,
my friends on the internet, that's what she says. My
friends
friends on the internet say.
Is she taking pictures of all the food and putting them on Facebook? Like, here's what we made for dinner, and here it is.
No, that's usually me.
That's you. Okay.
Yeah,
I've made fun of that on occasion. So
I'm a loser. I'm a loser.
I'm just kidding. You're great. It's amazing that you're here. We've been talking for a long time, and it was great that you decided to actually come on this dangerous show with me. So I appreciate
there's
that.
danger?
Okay, yeah, it's dangerous. Go. I've been told I'm a danger.
I gotta go.
I'm dangerous. But I appreciate you being here. Any last words before we call it a video?
MitchMalloy.com.
There you go.
I said that already 1,000 times, and I held up my CD 1,000 times. So now I'm sort of embarrassed.
It's okay. It's you got to promote.
I am a lead singer. Yeah, I'm a lead singer, so I'm allowed, right?
He is the lead singer. He's got a drummer's mentality, and he plays guitar. So
I play bass. Bass is my favorite.
Wow. Yeah. You're just like a Mitch of all trades, huh?
Yeah, I'm a master of none for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I make records by myself, which is like, well, you do what? People, you know what? I think people don't even care.
No.
They don't care. They're like,
no.
You do. Oh, that's interesting. What do you put in your hair?
Oh, that's
How do you make
funny.
your hair look like that? Did you say you did music?
He did music. Yeah. Well, it's a weird time we're living in, Mitch. Let's just be honest. Where a couple of dinosaurs were still roaming around, and I speak for myself, right? But it's just great to have you on. Best of luck with the new album, and you're welcome anytime to talk about anything you want to. If you ever get that phone call from Van Halen Incorporated, we definitely want to have you on and talk about that.
When I get super famous, I'll come back on.
All right.
Boost your ratings.
Yes, I need all the help I can get, apparently.
Yeah, your clicks. I'll get you some clicks.
Nice. All right, Mitch Malloy, everybody. Thanks for being here, Mitch.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.